Oh, hey, this is Morrison. Hi, I'm Charlie. You're welcome to this week's live. A lot of you are new. We got over 100 new people. Why is my hair looking like shit? Sorry, Morrison. We got like over 100 new people this week. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live. Welcome to what we do here. I love you all so much. Thank you so much. And so many of you are here from invitations from other users, which is amazing. Like I said, if you guys... I say this every week. If you guys are getting a lot of value, if you're finding something important, if you want to show that you're thankful, just invite one person. Invite one person to this channel and to our group, and let's help load it up. There's been a ton of really great questions. I've actually been like spending like 30 minutes to an hour almost every day, like going through everybody's questions and making sure that everybody gets answered. I know we got a couple new people in the Slack. We got maybe a dozen new people in the Patreon. It's been blowing up. I think this undermining the gurus thing that we're really focusing on this month has been really, really helpful. Last time we had growth this strong was back when we did the Ecom Brand Builder Best Practice Guide to help people basically get to 50,000 or 100,000 a month in spend before going to Facebook to start prospecting. That laid out plan and the ebook that went with it. Starting a new ebook on undermining the gurus, and so we're focusing in on that. This week I asked y'all in the group about things that you hear from people, best practices, stuff that people teach, the Tim Burge of the world, the Cat Howells, all those people that make money by giving out-of-date advice to people who are desperate for it and really want to succeed, the predators of the world. Everything that they're teaching that just doesn't work for you doesn't work for anybody. And so I was asking you, give me more of those things so I can tell you where they came from, why it was good advice at one point in time, why it's not good advice now, and what you should be doing instead. A little about me for the people that don't know, because there's a ton of people. This group started basically because I was going into all of those guys' groups and giving away good advice, and going to Facebook and dropping Facebook group links. Basically, I got sick and tired of like all of these people from on high with their get-rich-quick schemes and their scams and their bad practices. And as somebody that spends over $1 million a month in DR and has been a supervisor of major ad agencies running brands from Nissan to CBS, and worked with the Activision team and Mitsubishi, Domino's and MGM hotels and Taco Bell and Disney, and I mean a million fucking brands. And like running like super high level. I brought TRX to market, like all that stuff. I am so high above what a lot of most people are doing, that it helps me a lot to learn what everybody's doing, because the grindest people, the people that are making the biggest moves, that are challenging the system the most, people that are making the mistakes because they don't know better, that are actually defining the best practices, are you. So helping you all avoid making some of the mistakes that everybody's preying on you for, and sharing the ideas, has made me a much better marketer. And I really appreciate it. And also, I've gotten lucky a bunch, and I want to give back. And so that's what the purpose of this group is to get all that stuff done. Honestly, like for me, it's the success stories, it's the attention, it's the ability of to help people win, and make myself better, that motivates this. So all y'all that are here, hopefully that really tells you what it is that we're doing. This whole month, we're really trying to do the Undermine the Gurus thing. Sorry, my voice is shot. I had a rock show last night. It was the second of a week, and I've got 2 festivals next week, so it's going to be a bear. But yeah, so this whole month, we're kind of going through all that stuff. One of the things we like to do in this group is we start up every live feed with homework. If you do your homework from this live feed or any live feed, you can get half off the Slack, half off the Patreon, or you can get any ebook you want for free, or you can get discount rates on the one-on-one calls, half off on that too. So doing the homework is a great way to get anything that does cost money here for a lot cheaper. And really the only stuff there is, the Patreon is just you saying thank you, and there's a bunch of ebooks in there. And the Slack channel is where some of our more advanced people are. It's a private place where they're willing to share really intimate details about their businesses, about the best practices, and help each other out. And then one-on-one calls is where, I give you my time. So that's really like what we're doing here. There's no courses. There's no out-of-date shit. We're pushing the edge to finding the best practices. I'm really excited. We're about a month and a half away from Build to Break, where a lot of our case studies will be shown to the internal Facebook Disruptor group up in Menlo Park. And then the lessons there will be taught to reps who will give it out to their high-end clients. And then they'll do case studies in Q4. And then those case studies will be, written up in all sorts of things in the spring. And then they're going to be taught to you all in the summer for, I think Common Thread Collective is now charging $300 a month for shit that we did last fall. Something we talked about in this fucking group. And it's funny. And I see them, I go to their groups. I go to some of their meetups, right? And it's clear. They're just 9 months behind. I mean, they're ahead of most people. Don't get me wrong, but they're behind the ball and they're charging a shit ton of money for stuff that's out of date. And it's rude to call them out in particular, but whatever. This whole point is to undermine these folks. So we're going to call them out by name. We're going to show exactly who they are. Not to say that they're not valuable. They clearly help out a lot of people. But that's what this group is for. You made it here, so you don't need that. Anyway, this week, the homework, I think it's going to be every week for this Undermine the Gurus piece, is to take any of the advice that we give here, and you see it inside the group. It's sexy tactics, tactics, tips, tricks, all sorts of stuff. Anything that we posted. Any of the successes that we've had here, where we're giving away best practices on what you should be doing, if you post that into any group where people are charging for courses, you get half off the Patreon, the Slack, free ebooks, half of one-on-one calls. All you gotta do is post it, screenshot it, send it to me. All we're trying to do is help other people avoid being the victims of these predators. So anyway, that's that. I want to get right into it. And also, I was going to tackle, before we do all of the guru stuff, there is one piece that I did want to say, a best practice. I was going to maybe think about calling it the homework, but some people can't do it. So I just want to kind of cover it as a best practice. So this is a classic tip. I want to try to include these classic tips in. But this is great for DR companies. So for retargeting offers, a lot of the time, hi Waleed, hi Mitchell, hi Dashin, and Austin, and Alex, it just showed me everybody's looking at most of the time when I talk to people for retargeting, they have different ads for retargeting than for prospecting. And then they don't buy on the first click, then they'll say, well, here's free shipping or here's 50% off. They do all of that. The reason that is terrible advice, the reason that is really bad for your business, and the thing that you should do otherwise. Number one, it's bad for your business, for your business account, because Facebook wants to see the most data around each ad. The learnings happen at the ad level. When you have different ads for retargeting than you do for prospecting, you do for somewhere else, your money is getting divided up in a million different places. This means that your ads are highly diversified, which means that they don't all receive as much data as possible, so they're all running much more inefficiently than they could. I have seen the same ad, if it's rebuilt, same everything, just different post ID, will run at $20 and $30 CPMs. But if it's the same ad running in prospecting and retargeting, the CPMs tend to be in the teens and they function better because you're letting the high conversion rate of retargeting ads increase your estimated action rate, which is part of the bid process in Facebook, which helps you prospect better. Plus, because the learnings happen at the ad level. That ad, like a salesman, understands who a good customer is and who a bad customer is. When you show that person a room full of good customers, your retargeting pools, then that ad learns a lot faster what a success looks like. If you're a salesman that is inside of a room of 100 people ready to buy, and you do that for weeks on end, when you go out into the world with 1 million people, you're going to be able to identify, oh, this looks like all the other people that have converted. And so when you have an ad that understands what people look like and you target a lookalike audience with it, it's going to narrow that down to just the best people that work for that particular creative. So that's number one, why it's bad for your business. Number two, it's bad economics, because say you're selling a $20 product and it costs you $5 to get a no on prospecting. Then you hit them with retargeting, costs you another $5 to get a no. But on that retargeting, you offered 50% off. So your $20 product was a no, so that's $5. Then you knocked it down to 10, and you spent another $5 to get a no. So now you essentially spent $10 to get a no on a $10 product. Then you retarget with free shipping, and then you get a yes, and it costs you another $5. It essentially costs you $5 plus shipping that product to sell something for $10. You effectively paid Facebook to give a product away. So that is, don't discount. You have to remember, most people won't buy on first click. Most people won't even click on ads. 91% of people that convert on Facebook don't buy on the first click. You have to give them the opportunity. Back in the day, they did a lot of studies on marketing and impressions, and in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was determined that around 8 impressions were needed, 8 clicks in this case, or somebody needed to see what you were talking about 7 to 8 times before they remembered seeing you. Facebook and some other double-click studies have come out since then and said that basically people need to see your ads and engage with your content up to 14 times before they have intent to purchase. So really, your prospecting ad is just to say, hey, do you have intent? Or are you interested? And then your retargeting takes somebody that's interested in what you have to sell and tries to create intent from them. Facebook is the #1 platform for creating intent at scale. After that, people will go to Google. They'll see your stuff on Pinterest. They'll see your stuff organically. They'll do their homework, maybe on Amazon or whatever, and then they'll buy. That is why branded search is so heavily important on your search platforms. And we've gone through that in the Ecom Brand Builder stuff back in June. And you're just catching up. There's an ebook on it. It's in the Patreon. It's like $20 to join the Patreon. I think there's 26 pieces in there to read with a whole bunch of ebooks. And the ebooks are really simply put together like PowerPoint decks. They're not fancy. They're all based on actionable insight for, advertisers to get in there at an entry level and just crush it. So understand that if somebody doesn't buy on the first click, it's not because your ad isn't good enough. Your ad was good enough. Your ad was good enough to get somebody to be interested. And some people will buy because maybe they've seen the ad 5 times and then they clicked on it. And that click is the only thing that Facebook's registering, and they might buy that. Great. Then you've got a buyer. And if you can do that at above a 1x on your ROAS, wonderful, because you're basically paying dollar for dollar to fill your retargeting pools, and your retargeting pools are where you make all of your profit. So, last piece, what is the correct way of doing this? It's a twofold system. One, like I said, include the same ads. So that $20 ad, $5 for a no, $5 for a no again, and then the third touch, it wasn't because it was 50% off and free shipping that the person bought. It's that the first time they clicked on your ad, they were in an elevator. The second time, they were maybe in the bathroom. And the third time they clicked on the ad, they were at home and recognized the thing sitting up at night in bed, ready to kind of go to sleep, watching Forensic Files, and bought it. Okay, that's my own story about some t-shirts. But there you go. That's a very common customer journey, right? If that's a $20 product and each one of those costs you $5, you actually made $5 on that purchase. 5 for the no, 5 for the no, 5 for the yes. The way that it's being taught, you actually effectively lose money to make the sale. This way, you save money and you're making the ad be better. In addition, this is something I call the Reeb Upsell, but it's basically something that I learned from a woman that was running infomercials for 20 years. And something that we've done on a brand that does 30 million a year. For Facebook ads. If you ever notice on infomercials, and we all know this, like say there's the knife. I'm like, okay, that's great. You got the knife and it's the set of 4. Wonderful. I want to buy it. No. Not only are you getting that, but you're getting the little knife that like cuts fish. Nobody ever fucking uses to cut fish. And you're getting like the block and then these like chamois wipes and this other thing. Okay, great. I'm interested. But wait, you're going to get 2 of them. And instead of charging you $30, which is a reasonable price for the 4 knives, they're going to charge you 4 easy payments at $25, so you get this $400 value for $100. You're like, fine, just give it to me. I'll give the other thing away. I'm ready to buy. You need to create that in your ads. And the Reeb Upsell is the way to do it. So, for instance, say you have your $20 product. If somebody doesn't buy the $20 product, you can make available inside of retargeting, buy 2, get 1 free. $40 for 3 of them, or buy 1, get 1 50% off, right? So $30 for 2 of them. Because if you're selling anything for $20, it should cost you, $5 to $10, $5 to $12, right? You have to get your profit margins correct. But anyway, or maybe it's buy 1, get it in a bundle. Oh, you didn't like this thing, but if you put this thing with this thing and this thing, we'll sell you for $50. Because what you've done is you've taken that low price item to bring somebody into your ecosystem where they are now educating themselves on your product and you are creating intent. If somebody doesn't want to buy the cheap thing, offer them more value, and they are likely often to jump up and take those higher cost items. And you can do it at a way that will raise you more revenue. Like most people don't have unlimited ad spends. Some of us are lucky, but not everybody has that, which means that every dollar needs to earn as many dollars as you can. And so if you know that, let's take this, for instance, again, $5 for no on the $20 product, and then you retarget them with another, $5 for the $20 product, and they say no, and then you retarget them. Maybe it costs you $10 to make a sales trip to $20 in cost, but they take the buy 2, get 1 free. So now you spent $20 to sell $40. You made $20 on that transaction instead of $5 on that transaction, and you got rid of 2 or 3 items from your inventory. And the number one thing when you're selling products is inventory turnover. So I want to challenge you all. This is a thing that I've been using for years, and I highly fucking recommend it. And I need to actually up my game on this and go back through some of my bundles. This is a very, very common practice, and you'll see this all the time. We kind of cueing this back into the guru shit. You see this all the time. People saying upsells. Like, oh, here's the thing. Put an upsell in there. Put an upsell in there. Upsells are great, but don't put an upsell on your website before somebody buys, because it creates friction and it makes it more difficult to buy. And it means that somebody, when they're clicking on the $20 item, I don't want buy 2 get 1 free. I want the thing. Okay, well, how about this? I don't want that. If you have to say no 5 times on your site before they can give you the credit card information, they're not going to buy. So put it directly in the ad right away the very first time. When you're retargeting somebody, give them the choices. Also, the way this works inside the Facebook ecosystem is Facebook understands that the prices for the items are different because the Facebook pixels attached, and there's a value for every product. For every product and every bundle, every product ID has a value, a dollar value attached to it, which means Facebook understands that there are some buyers who are the $20 buyer and there's some buyers who are the $50 buyer, which means those 2 items can go after the same pool, say add to cart one day, and they're going to target different members inside of that pool. So you're going to get larger reach into your retargeting audiences, because some people don't want the cheap thing. Some people want to spend more money. Some people don't want to spend more money and they want the cheap thing. But if you have the different ads, they're able to be complementary to each other. And the higher price items are probably going to have a higher AOV. We know they are, and they're probably going to have a higher ROAS. AOV is average order value, the average value of the person when they check out of your store on a daily basis. And the ROAS, your return on ad spend, is probably going to be higher if the checkout price item is more expensive. It just goes to say, right? And then after somebody buys, then you can add a post-transactional upsell. You can introduce things inside of retargeting. This is where you can try out new products, and you can do testing for all you drop shippers. That's a great way to do it. And then based on the successes there, things you can try at the top of the funnel to bring people in because, oh, well, I know they're buying this, and now everybody seems to be buying this too. Let me throw that in at the top of the funnel and build out entire bundles and systems and customer flows for those. Anyway, that's the Reeb Upsell. So want to get into the questions for the week, all the guru shit. But before we do that, Austin Lacey asked a couple questions about what we mentioned about retargeting. Number one, you said we should use the same post ID in prospecting, but you also said we should create new ads for retargeting for Reeb Upsells. Does this mean the retargeting ad set should have original ads and some new different ones? Great question. The new ads you're running only in retargeting, I would run them in a new campaign that's for retargeting. And the reason for this is every campaign should have a business objective, a unique business objective. So your prospecting campaign is your prospecting campaign for this $20 item that's built around this creative concept. Your retargeting campaign is retargeting everybody to that $20 item. And you're going to have your ad to cart, to content, so-and-so. You're going to have another campaign that's targeting those audiences, but with another offer. And that way, when you're managing your budgets inside of CBO, you're able to divide up your budgets between the two business objectives at a very high level really easily, which means you can do the work really quickly. And when you're pulling in your reporting for your Scrum doc, it's extremely easy to read. This is the line item for the $20. This is the line item for the $50. Simple as fuck. And then you can make decisions very, very quickly, which means you're not spending a lot of your time guessing based on numbers from Facebook. You're spending your time doing trend analysis and doing business planning, which lets you, as a business owner, run a business instead of having to run Facebook ads. Facebook ads should be the thing that takes you an hour or two a day, sometimes 3 or 4 if you've got new ads. It should be the simple thing. Running your business is the hard part. Facebook is easy if you organize it well and you have a successful business. Relatively speaking, you should be spending more time improving your business than running your ads. Because if you have a shit business, all the ads in the world are only going to cost money to tell people you don't know what you're doing. Keep the Facebook ads simple. Work on your business. So hopefully that's helpful. And number two, how do we take advantage of the 8 to 12 ideal impression frequency on Facebook since Facebook starts penalizing a spike frequency after only 3x frequency? Great. So what Austin is saying, Facebook will penalize you if your daily unique frequency is over 3. And you can see this if you go up here to breakdown and then you go time and then day, you can see the frequency per day. And that's the only frequency that really matters, by the way. All the other frequency over the time, it's just a vanity number. That's the actionable, that right there is the actionable insight of seeing what it is. Now, the way that you control and take advantage of this frequency is you create multiple audiences. So if I know that my add to cart 1 day is reaching my customer on average 2.5 times, and then my add to cart 7 days reaching my customer on average 2 times a day, what that means is over the course of a week, that person's probably seen my ad at least a dozen, if not 2 dozen times, including the thing that made them click in the first place. So controlling the customer journey by breaking them up into into the largest possible sections divided by value, which is recency and level of intent, your add to carts and your view content and your site traffic and your ad engagers. That was reversed. It's actually ad engagers up here. Don't use video viewers, do ad engagers. And then site traffic, and then view content, and then add to cart. As somebody moves up or down through that funnel, you'll be able to control the daily frequency against them each day, which means by the end of their customer journey, you'll be able to ensure that that person has the optimal frequency that is good for you on a profit margin, as well as good for you and your business insight. Next question. How do we maximize our exposure at least 7x when Facebook naturally wants us not to do this cost effectively? Yeah, the way that you maximize your exposure, like I said, should have read that question too before I answer, is that you map the customer throughout their journey, right? So if your add to cart one day has a daily unique frequency of 2.5, which by the way, you add to cart one day should be at least a 2. The best results I've seen are 2.5 and up. And you view content one day. Your one day retargeting audiences, make sure that when somebody signs in, they see you. And pay those higher CPMs because you're probably going to get more conversions. And if you're not, it's probably your landing page, your ads. And then when they go to the 7-day audiences, you're able to map them out. Again, those might be a 1.5 or a 2x. So say the average person on day 1 sees it 3 times, and then twice a day for the next week. That's how you're getting your super high frequency against those valuable customers. And Facebook will only show that to the people that it thinks are most likely to buy. So the people that aren't likely to buy most likely won't see it. One of the ways to get around that, just to make sure, is instead of running a conversion objective on your one day, you can run a reach objective or an impressions objective or a daily unique reach objective, so that on the one-day audiences, it's not very cost effective beyond that, but on the one-day audiences, you're reaching everybody as much as possible so that anybody that's been to your site is blanketed with you. That's what Amazon does. That's what really high-end retailers do because they have the money to. But if it works for you, it's something to try. Tomas asks, hey, Thomas. Thomas. I'm going to go Tomas. I think you're a Tomas. Anyway, hey, Charlie. Hope you're doing well. Great point about the retargeting being the core of ROAS. However, what to do if retargeting is not getting the proper ROAS? In my case, prospecting is doing better at the moment than retargeting, but I've recently switched to worldwide. Could the reason be that since I'm getting a lot of lower quality traffic, that the one for 70 audiences are full of people who do not really want to buy, and the retargeting ad set is targeting them as well as resulting in lower ROAS? Great point. Your thinking is totally on point, Tomas. We're actually in the Slack channel together, and we talk about a lot of this stuff. Thank you so much for bringing this to the live. This is the kind of conversations we have all day in the Slack, by the way, everybody. But great thinking. You're right on top of it. One of the reasons that your retargeting is less effective is because you have populated it with lower quality traffic. Now that you've entered people from all over, Facebook needs an amount of time to get enough signals to know who the right customers are. Also, let's make sure that your exclusions in your prospecting exclude the audiences that you're using for retargeting. Oftentimes, people's prospecting is doing better than their retargeting because they're including like ad engagers or site traffic inside of that. And they're trying to retarget those people, which means the prospecting audience is making the sale, and it's getting, maybe the prospecting is getting a 1.5 and your retargeting is getting like a 1. Well, if you had excluded those people, maybe your prospecting gets like a 1.2, but because the retargeting is inclusive of all the best people without having to compete for them, it can get like a 1.5 or a 2x. And you can funnel your money to the retargeting folks before trying to scale up on prospecting. So I think you have 3 problems. Number 1, absolutely going worldwide is going to confuse the retargeting pool. And one of the problems with going worldwide is language and currency. Not everybody uses the pound or the euro or the dollar. Not everybody can read English. So definitely try to map out those sections. One easy way to improve that is to have your retargeting audiences only target people that can speak English. If they can't speak English, they're not going to understand your ad. Or if it's only in German or in Spanish or in Tagalog, whatever it is, make sure that your best performing ads are only being seen by people that can understand them. And that's very common. Also, there are cultural differences that can sometimes create issues. I was working with a client from Australia, And speaking Australian verbiage didn't really map to English, American, or European. So there's all those kind of inferences too. But what I would say is keep running the retargeting. Try to make sure that all of the mechanics of it are together. And then the last issue is you just need more spend. You need more volume. You need more time for that retargeting audience to really understand who the good people are. I'm doing something right now where it's a smaller brand and they're struggling to get traffic, and the retargeting just isn't delivering conversions every day. And the honest truth is the main reason it's not getting conversions every day is because we can only spend a couple dozen dollars on it. And that means that the ads have to learn. And the ads don't necessarily match entirely with the customer journey. So it's tough. It's tough. It's one of those things where you can't rely on Facebook only when you're building a brand. You need to expand. You need to have platforms like Tapjoy and Google, everything else we've talked about, so that you're able to give Facebook enough volume. Because what Facebook does is it improves businesses at scale. It allows you to scale businesses. If you don't have volume, Facebook is very expensive as the primary initial source of it. And it's one of the reasons that most of the people fail. That's another thing the fucking gurus tell you all the time. They're like, oh, just test products on Facebook. You can do that all fucking day, but it's going to lose you money 99% of the time. Let's see. Austin Lacey asked, thanks, Charlie, super helpful. So, what I meant, my original question is one, is assuming we create a new campaign for retargeting, should you have a different ad set inside of that campaign for the ads of the same post ID as the prospecting and different for the new offers? Or do you just consolidate the new and the old offers in the same retargeting ad set? Awesome, great question. So let's say you have the $20 offer in prospecting. For retargeting, there's a $20 offer retargeting campaign. If you want to do Reeb Upsells, do that as a separate retargeting campaign that only has the Reeb Upsells in it. Oftentimes what happens is if you have a $50 item and a $20 item competing inside of the same ad set, depending on the optimization that you pick, if you pick lowest cost, you'll never sell the high-priced items because they're more expensive to sell. If you go for ROAS, you'll never sell the low-priced items. And you end up competing where those ads are trying to find the right person, but they're all spending the same dollar to get there, so they're competing with each other. And they are not complementary. Whereas if you have them in separate ad sets and I organize them in separate campaigns so that they're very easy to manage, then they're not competing with each other. They're really kind of going after different people in the room. Like, when you go to the grocery store, you see the people that are clearly there to buy some milk and some cookies. And then there are people there that do the whole fucking shopping for the week. Those are different buyers. And you want to have different campaigns targeting those buyers differently. So hopefully that's helpful. Hi, Umar and Shabam. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. I want to get to, we've already covered some great stuff with the guru stuff. So I want to get into more. Oh, nope, this is my live. Nope, stop. I'm trying to pull up the notes here so I don't interfere with the video. So I asked this week, what are some things that you are hearing all of the time? And I got some really great stuff. So, need to separate the learnings. Need to separate. Austin says, at some point, need to keep the learnings separate. Thanks. Yeah, Austin, you need to keep the learnings separate. But remember, the learnings happen at the ad level. So the learnings are always separate no matter what. What you want to do is itemize the customer journey. Every campaign needs to have a unique business objective. If your business objective is to sell the $20 product, that's one campaign. If your business objective is to sell the $50 product, that's a separate campaign. So those are two different objectives, two different campaigns. Now, some awesome kung fu that I've been doing a lot lately is making a multi-product carousel where it's like the $20 product, the $50 product, like $100 product, right? Or whatever it is, right? So you're good, better, best. So it might be, you know, the offers that we've talked about, right? So it's the $20 product, then it's the buy one, get one 50% off, then it's the buy two, get one free in a carousel. And then you can target that to everybody because that's showing it to the the, you know, the $20 product buyer. And it's showing it to the $50 product buyer. You're letting the person make the choice. And what I've found is generally that is not as high performing, but able to take way more volume and spend because it's showing the ads to the right people. And because you can say, hey, put the best performing one first, people are going to see the offer that makes the most sense to them. So another thing to try there. Tomas asks, for language, I'm using English all and prospecting and retargeting. For currency, I have a currency conversion app, so it shows customers the currency based on their IP location. Great. Also, would you consider that when an ad set is spent enough money when it shows learning phase finished? Yes. And do you also try to treat these ad sets differently, even if they are in prospecting campaigns? So yes, to your first question, I would say that when an ad set says learning phase completed, then it's at least good enough to start trying to optimize. What I can say is that when the learning phase is done, it's by no means running at the best it'll ever run. But that means that, okay, it's now at enough data to mature to a level where it's going to know who to go for. That being said, I've run stuff, you know, where the learning phase is completed and it's still not doing well. And the problem usually is not enough volume. If you're not getting, if the audience is too small, you have to pay such a high CPM to get to them, and you're not getting enough good buyers into the door that when you're trying to retarget them, they're just not converting. And it's really painful. And honestly, most of the time, the biggest causes behind that are either site design, offer construction, or volume of your prospecting. And the only way around that is to make a better site, to work on your pricing, and to drive more traffic. And so that's why we build from the bottom of the funnel up. When the bottom is done properly, we know that the only way to make this better is to get more traffic or to redesign the site. And most of the time, it's one of those two glaringly. Like in the issue that I'm having right now with somebody that I'm helping, is very much the site's awesome. It's just they need more traffic. They need more informed customers because they're getting, you know, maybe 20 to 50 cart abandoners a day, which is great. But if you're trying to, you know, do a CPM cost per 1,000 impressions on it, it's super fucking high. Which means that even if we're getting conversions, it's really rare that they're coming in at a level that makes business sense for us to target. So we're working on driving up the volume from Tapjoy to just get as many fucking clicks into the system as possible so that we're able to make as many impressions more efficiently. And then also just trying to get, you know, more learnings in the ads. It's just a process. Like, it takes time to mature. And yes, I do treat ad sets differently if they're in the learning phase versus not. I will basically not touch ad sets in the learning phase unless, like, if I'm running it and it's getting me a 3x ROAS, I'm gonna push up the budget. If I'm running it and I'm getting no sales after a couple of days, even if it's in the learning phase, I'll probably kill it. But unless it's got that hyperbolic performance, I generally won't touch them. Okay. Undermining the gurus section. Man, we've done a lot there already. I'm glad that we got into that. Clearly, that is something that you guys wanted to see, which I'm very happy about. So, Jackie Hansen, group member for a while now, has asked. Sorry, this is filled with coffee, so I'm just trying to drink it all. Steeler Nation. There we go. I think I just talked for 40 minutes straight. I deserve something to drink. Okay, so Jackie asked, for testing products, I know this is big for a lot of people. She was told to run 10 ad sets at $5 a day. Single interested, purchase conversion, e-packet countries. and then kill ad sets if CPCs were over $1 and when they hit $10 and no sale. And do I think this is still our best strategy? That's her question. I would never say that was your best strategy, but that's her question. And so I said, oh dear, yes, we'll cover that again, and we'll do that right now. So what she's doing, and this is a very common thing, and I deal with this with a lot of dropshippers that I've talked to, is that they're saying, let me run a bunch of $10 ad sets or $5 ad sets. And if something makes a sale, great. And if it fails, kill it. What I will tell you is, you're effectively buying lottery tickets. The likelihood that any brand, even massively well-known brands like Nike or I don't know, a million fucking brands on the internet, the likelihood that spending $5 a day is going to make a sale is extremely low. You are lucky if you make a sale at $5 or $10 a day ad sets. The strategy, so let me give you the history of it, why it doesn't work, and the right thing to do. So the history of it is, back in the day, Facebook didn't have a conversion objective. You could only buy link clicks. And the people first buying on Facebook were Google advertisers who were used to really a high return on ad spends from Google ads. Because Google back in the day was as efficient as Facebook was. Well, it is now. And so it was just printing money. And then it got less and less efficient because more and more people got into it, all that stuff. So anyway, they were looking at CPCs. And they were spending very low money. And basically they were saying, hey, if this can make a sale for $5, I'm running with it. If it can't make a sale for $10, I'm killing it. So that's where it comes from. Because the conversion objective basically didn't exist. The machine learning basically didn't exist. You were basically saying, can this work? And you're running it for a few days, and if you didn't get a bite, or if you weren't even getting interest for a certain cost, you killed it. So that's where it comes from. And it was a very, very solid practice from like 2000, from the late 90s to like 2010, 2015. Which is why it's really commonly taught. It's also really commonly taught because you're able to show screenshots inside of your Facebook group of 20x ROAS numbers and 7x ROAS numbers. And you get guys like me saying anybody that's getting a 5 or 10x ROAS is lying to you. But say you're selling a $100 product and you have a $5 a day ad set. If you get 2 sales, say it's a $50 product. If you get 2 sales and you spend $5, that's a 20x ROAS. That's a great fucking day. And that's completely honest. Now, most of those people aren't showing that data on a one-day post-click. Most people aren't showing it in the legitimate way, which is a whole other fucking rabbit hole we've gone down a few times, and we'll gladly go over that again if you want it. But they're able to show really, really strong numbers. And so it's very, very promising. You're like, oh shit, I made 20x. And so then what happens? What have we all seen? Is you try to scale it. You're like, oh, I spent $10. Great, let me spend 20. Let me spend 50. Oh, my ROAS went from like 20x down to 2, and now I haven't made a sale for the last 5 days. Facebook doesn't work. Raise your hand if that's happened to you. Yes, it happened to you too. It happened to you. I know that's a little facetious. It's happened to every single fucking one of us. Let's try it. Guaranteed that's happened to you. And it's probably happened time and again. And it's fucking frustrating. And why did it happen? Because you went to Vegas, you put $5 on black and doubled your money. You did it again and doubled your money. You're like, oh shit, I can print money here. So you threw $100 on black and you lost. Because you're playing a game based purely on luck. It's not a scalable system. It's not a stable system. And it's not a repeatable system that you can measure, which means it's not going to be something that you build your business off of. Why doesn't it work? It doesn't work because it relies on you basically for $5 or $10. You're going to show maybe 500 maybe 1,000 impressions. And also these people get really low CPCs because they're trying to get lucky. And they're getting really low CPMs because you're not trying to run a business at scale. You're just trying to pull fucking scratcher tickets. $5 scratch tickets. And Facebook wants to make it easy for people to do that. So it makes it really low cost. So the most efficient way to run Facebook is spending $5 a day. Guaranteed on a day you're gonna make a sale, it's gonna be fucking huge. But none of us can pay our bills on $5 a day. So the reason it doesn't work is, with all that being said, is because it relies on you getting lucky, and there's nowhere near enough data. If you get one sale a day, knowing Facebook has told you time and again, or told us time and again, that it needs roughly 50 conversions a week to understand, to have a large enough data set to understand what a buyer looks like. And this makes sense, right? Like, if you're going out into the world showing something to millions of people, you probably need a couple dozen examples of who the right person is before you can walk up to anybody and know that person's right, that person's wrong. It's experience. If there was a salesman and they made 3 sales, you wouldn't put your entire business on their back. You shouldn't fucking do it for Facebook ads. So another reason this doesn't work is because it's not repeatable and it's not scalable. The reason you have a 20x ROAS is because you sold a $50 product for $5 twice in a day. The likelihood of that happening every fucking day is 0. That will never happen. Flat out will never fucking happen. And it's the likelihood of, like I said, going to Vegas, going to the roulette wheel and hitting black every fucking time. It won't happen. But Facebook isn't for gambling. Facebook is for running your business. People that treat it as gambling lose every time. What I focus on is removing the gambling from it. It's not removing the gambling, but it's running a business, which is taking educated bets on how to profit. Educated bets and how you run a successful business is taking something that is stable, that is repeatable, that is measurable, and scaling it. If you're running $10 a day ad sets, you're never going to be able to scale that business. And I've eviscerated a bunch of fucking gurus that are always doing like, well, do this thing. The guys will say, well, I'm running $1 million business. It's going on the same, like, yeah, you're running $1 million business showing people how to do this. You're not running $1 million business actually doing it. And I can tell because I know 1,000 people like you and you're fucking bullshit. And these are guys that are like taking pictures next to Lamborghinis, trying to be, the guy from Snow, or, they're like Ty Lopez people. They're liars and they're predators and they're fucking terrible people. They know they're full of shit. They know they're lying to you. They know they're trying to take advantage of you, and they know they're overcharging for bullshit data, or they don't know, and they're just really stupid assholes. Either way, they're full of shit. So, how do we deal with this? If you want to succeed, you need to be able to drive 50 or so conversions a week. Now, a conversion doesn't necessarily have to be a purchase. A conversion is any conversion objective. It can be a view content. It can be an add to cart. But you always want to be driving conversions. Don't optimize for, if you're trying to make sales, don't optimize for like a link click or something along those lines. Optimize for a purchase at the bottom, right? Like, go for conversions. Sorry, not a purchase, for a conversion. But you can change your conversion objective. If you can only get 3 to 5 purchases a week, that's fine. You'll get better. But you can optimize for add to carts. Maybe you get 1 out of 20 people that add to cart buys. Okay, and you make 5 purchases a week. That's 100 add to carts a week. That is more than enough data for Facebook to start to optimize to. And if Facebook can optimize to more people adding to cart, likelihood is it'll get more people to add to cart for cheaper. And maybe instead of getting 100 people to add to cart a week, you can get 150. Well, if 1 out of 20 people adds to cart buys, then you go from 5 sales a week to 7 or 8 sales a week. Great. 7 to 8 sales a week is better. And as you can ramp that up, maybe it's 20 sales a week or 30 or 40. And by that point in time, hopefully your business is doing better and you're getting more scale. So you're more efficient and you're getting more traffic. Maybe you can get up to 50 sales a week. Because your audience is big enough, because you're not itemizing down a million places and spending all in 1,000 different spots. Then you're at a spot where like, okay, this is a fully stable ad set. Like my add to cart 7-day is now able to drive 50 sales a week. I can rely on that to be the cornerstone of my business. It's getting a 1.5 or it's getting a 2x return. I know every dollar I spend is going to get me that every fucking day. Now you're really doing well. And you can change it from add to cart to purchase, and then it's going to fucking be even more efficient. And then you know, okay, I've maxed this thing out. I understand I can spend $75 a day here, and it's going to give me 50 conversions a week, and I'm crushing it. How do I get more add to carts? I can increase my prospecting spend. And so I'm getting more people to my site, so that I'm getting more people to add to carts, so that I can retarget more people, and now this is a fucking bank. I put money in, and I get interest out, and that's it. And that's how you run your entire fucking business. That's your goal. Your goal is to try to get ad sets to that level. If you can get an ad set to that level, then you can build entire businesses on the back of it. I always suggest to people, add to carts and view contents. View contents being product page viewers. That's the default pixel file from Shopify and WooCommerce and everything else. 1 or 7 day. Like just get something where you can get that level of volume. And what will happen is your first week might be tough, your second week might be better, but by the end of your first month, like you're gonna get volume. Like it's a long game, but we're not here to get rich quick. We're here to build businesses. Building a business takes time. If you were to build a brick and mortar business, no business plan that you'd make that has you profitable after 1 year is legitimate. Any business plan that you make that's really legit will have you maybe breaking even after 2 years. Remember, you're running a business on Facebook. You're not going to be able to quit your job day 1. Oh man, sorry dude. Senator Reeb just got his ad account disabled. Oh, we'll talk about that later, Senator Reeb. That's what happening to a lot of people. But anyway, you're trying to build a business. So you have to understand that it's a long-term game. And you need to plan for that by setting achievable goals. Your best achievable goals is to try to get your retargeting ad sets to that 50 conversions so that you can get there. So that's how you're going to beat this thing. Everything else that she's bringing up here, kill ad sets with a CPC over $1. I don't care what the cost per click is. I care what my conversion rate is. I care about like what my profit margin is. And if you're selling a $50 product and you make 1 out of 10 people that buys, I'll take a $4 CPC. I'm regularly running $30,000, $40,000 a day on like a $2 CPC. $1 CPC is great, but again, the entire strategy is built off of being lucky. So you want to get away from being lucky and start building on very sound business practices. For Facebook, that is getting your retargeting ad sets to 50 conversions a week. Then you can ramp up your prospecting spend. And it's whatever you need to do to get there. So take a look at your ad account, build a Scrum doc, take a look at your ad account, which is, for those that don't know, Scrum doc is it's a document that I've built out. There's an entire ebook on it, and I've done a lot of walkthroughs with people on it. And we can do one-on-ones just to set that up if you want. We can answer a bunch of questions, but it allows you to see your performance day by day across all your platforms and the contribution to your bottom line that every single campaign is doing. Use that to understand how you can get your retargeting ad set to 50 conversions a week. And then that will map out the success of your business. Anyway, Jackie also asks, I'm also trying something different now. And this is something also that I'm seeing a shit ton. And it's very commonly preached. And it's a terrible business because it also relies on luck. And it also is something that is very easy to show good results with. Remember, 90% of what gurus and these, predators selling courses, 90% of what they sell relies on something that is very easy to look at and say, oh, well, that's winning. You don't see the back end of the business. You don't see like whether it's actually profitable. You just see really nice numbers on the Facebook platform, right? That's it. So this is another practice that what I call vanity metrics, right? It's like if going to the gym and all you do is work on your biceps. You have super ripped biceps, but your fucking legs are like fucking twigs and your back is thrown out and you're fat as fuck, but hey, I got really big biceps. Because you're fucking 12 and you think that means anything. This is this right here is another example of that, middle schooler going to the gym to get big biceps. I'm trying something different now. Running PPE, so pay per engagement campaigns, and then also retargeting video views with conversion ads. Not much luck though. Yeah, you're not gonna have much luck with that. So what she's doing is she's running her ads and getting page post engagements on them, PPE, page post engagements. So she's saying, hey, I want people to engage with my ad. And I'm going to retarget the people that viewed the video. So she's running a video ad and then trying to get people to engage with it. So paying for people to like, comment, and share on it. And then retargeting everybody that viewed the video with the conversion ad. Makes sense. Really easy to understand. And then you can say, hey, I'm getting, engagements for a penny and I'm retargeting video viewers and I'm probably spending, $10 a day and every couple of days I'm getting a 20x ROAS. And when you show that to somebody on a Facebook group with a 28-day attribution, you're saying, oh, look at that. I spent $23 and I made $1,000 or some bullshit like that. And I see it all the fucking time. Because it's really easy to show really strong numbers. But based on what we just said, what are some of the issues there? Sorry, buddy. I know. Puppy. Even Morrison knows. Good boy. Yeah, see, there's right there. They know. Yeah, give me that belly. Good boy. So, what do we know that's wrong with this strategy based on what we've just been saying? Number one, relies on small budgets to show success, which means it's not a scalable thing. If you're saying, well, I had a good day today when I spent $10, my response to you is going to be, what happens when you spend $1,000? Your answer to that is, I'm going to lose my money, which means my response to you is, you don't have a business. If you can spend $1,000 a day, if you can spend $500 a day, if you can't scale to that level, then what you have isn't successful. You're working on it, but don't pat yourself on the back because you scratched a lottery ticket and made $10 today. That being said, most of you probably aren't there, and that's why you're here, so we can get you there, right? That's my goal. I want you to be there, right? So we've established that. Number two, you are trying to run non-conversion objectives. Now that's something we haven't covered in here, but running non-conversion objectives doesn't make sales. What you're saying is, say you have a store in the mall, right? And you've got, the windows in the front of the store, the storefront, and your storefront has like a really funny video. Everybody's watching the video. Great. How many sales did you make today because you put up a funny video? Well, some people would say, well, I put up a funny video so more people came into the store. I'm selling, say, let's just use it for instance. Let's say it's H&M and it's, women's dresses on sale for $50. I don't know if that's a reasonable price, but let's just go with it. So if H&M puts up a funny dog video about this little guy right here, you know, enjoying himself. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just keep petting you. Okay, you're cute. Cope. Boop. Yeah, they know. So you're selling dresses for $50 and you put a really cute dog video up in the corner. How many more shirts, how many more dresses do you sell for $50? The answer is, the thinking is, well, I got way more attention at my storefront. And everybody that viewed that video, I'm going to try to sell them a $50 dress. Great. How's that working out? The answer is terribly. Why? Because the video itself, trying to get more people to watch that video, fundamentally serves no purpose in showing the value of the product you're trying to sell. Now, let's say that video is about the dress. Great. It still doesn't actually get somebody into the store. You're not targeting buyers. You're targeting people that like to click and watch videos on Facebook. Engagers and buyers are very different people. They're not the same. You can't target them the same. So optimizing towards engagements and then targeting the video viewers basically doesn't mean a lot. So say you're trying to get people to share, and then everybody that watches the video, you're trying to serve an ad. It makes sense because they know about you, but they don't know about you because they have any interest in buying. They just saw your video. And then you're retargeting the video viewers with a purchase objective, which is the best part about that whole strategy. And the reason that it works is because you're trying a purchase objective and a retargeting audience. Now, that's fundamentally flawed for two big reasons. Number one, if somebody watches a video, it doesn't mean they have any intent on buying. How many times do we see a funny commercial and have no fucking clue what the brand is? How many times do we see ads for shit and we don't care? It's a funny ad, we don't give a shit. And it's not just saying that it's funny, whatever it is. An engaging video doesn't mean that you're going to make any sales. And then creative types will say, well, a really great video is going to drive all this stuff. And that's true. But 9 times out of 10, a really great video won't sell shit. It's a combination of a great video plus the right product that's solving a problem with a video that's explaining the, presenting a problem and giving a solution to that problem, and then making it so that somebody can see themselves as the person that's getting that problem solved, so that they can spend money on an aspiration, so that then they'll buy from you, because people spend money on things to make their life better. When you show somebody this is a problem, this is a solution to the problem, and this is how your life can be easier and better if you spend this money, they're going to buy from you. If you say, here's something cute, here's something funny, now you watch both of that, give me money, they're going to tell you, go fuck yourself. And that's why that strategy doesn't work. So, that being said, how do we do this better? Because I'm not just here to poke holes in things. I want to make it better. How do we solve a problem? We always solve it from the bottom up. What is the last touch? You're retargeting video views. Oh, I didn't get to the second issue. The second issue there is video viewers is a bad audience to target. It's often effective for people because video viewers are people that are interested. However, a higher quality audience like that is an engager. Somebody that views a video, and that's considered an engagement. But if you have engagers, post and ad engagers, which is a custom audience you can build inside of Facebook, you'll also get the people that are like, commenting, and sharing included in that. And you're not getting anybody that just sees the video. You're getting people that stick around the video for a certain percentage of time. And you don't have to make a new audience for every fucking video that you run. Because that's another problem. If you duplicate your ad or you upload 5 or 6 videos, now your video viewer audience has to be of every single video. So now it's like 5 or 6 different audiences, and somebody might be in multiple audiences, which means now your ad sets are competing for each other, which means your account's running really inefficiently. And yeah, it's working because somebody that watches 90% of your video probably cares, but you're spending a shit ton of money running really inefficiently to get to that person. And maybe they're giving you a 1.2, but if you were more efficient now you're retargeting them, you can probably get a 1.5. Or spend less money to get that one, the 1.5. Or you can spend more money and keep it at the 1.2. So it's working, but it's working really, really hard to succeed. So, fixing this problem. Yes, targeting video viewers is good, but target ad engagers, post and ad engagers instead. Because it's easier to build that audience. That audience will be larger because it's not just the video viewers, but it's also the like, commented, and shared. And it's not just that one video, but it's everything that you put out. Because you as a brand, a little bit of a history of this video viewer audience stuff came from. The video viewer audience retargeting stuff came from advertising agencies that wanted to prove the value of their creative. So brands, and I learned this back when I was running bigger brands. For instance, when I was running Nissan, there was several different brands creating ads for Nissan. Well, we wanted to say we were the ones that were most effective at getting test drives of like the 2015 Altima. So how do you do that? You say, well, I'm retargeting the video viewers and I'm getting test drives. And I'm going to target the video viewers of my ads. So my creative shop built the video. And then I can go to Nissan and say, well, look, these other people are running all sorts of stuff and I don't know how they go. But I know that somebody that watched my video, I was able to get them into a car for $100, and 1 out of 5 of them that got into a car made a purchase or a lease. So it cost $500 to get somebody to make a $20,000 purchase when they watch my video. Now, fundamentally, Nissan's going to say, well, great, make more videos and spend more money. That's where it comes from. It comes from creative shops and performance houses inside of an ad agency conspiring against clients to get more money. That's how that strategy originated. So when you're running post and ad engagers, what you're doing is you're saying anybody interested in my brand, whether it's this video, whether it's another ad, anybody that has taken the time and effort to like, comment, share, or watch a video from anything that I'm doing, because your brand probably, hopefully has a theme and is built around something. Even if it's a general store, they understand what it is that you're doing. And hopefully, even if you have a general store, you're at least trying to, it's not dog food and then, batteries and, something else, because Amazon's going to beat you every time. But targeting engagers also lets you target engagers based on recency. So video viewers is anybody that's viewed 95%. Now, you're going to be targeting that person until the end of time. If I watch your video, if I watch your entire video, I'm going to be in your retargeting pool until you turn that ad off. Which means you're spending money every day on people that are less and less and less likely to give a fuck about your product. Which means you're affecting your advertiser score, your estimated action rate, because you're forcing Facebook to spend money on people that have already told you to fuck off. You are becoming a bigger burden day over day to every single person that you're showing your ads to, which means you're going to get lower and lower quality impressions, which means your advertising is going to get less and less efficient, which means on day 3 you might be great, but by day 13 you're just blowing money trying to convert somebody that already told you to get off their fucking front lawn. Engagers can be done by day. Who engaged with me yesterday? Who engaged with me over the last week? Now you're able to say, I don't care what you did, but you know who I am. Remember, prospecting is just there to get people aware of you, and retargeting is there to create intent. If you're retargeting somebody that's aware of you, that's shown an interest, and then you try to create intent, then that person is far more likely to come to your site. And if you spend money on them for a week and they haven't gone to your site, which will move them down the retargeting funnel, then fuck them. They're not interested. Let them show intent some other time by clicking on some other ad or going to your site or something. But they're a waste of money for you. So video viewers is a highly inefficient way of retargeting these people. That's why I say your 90% video viewer is probably going to work because you're getting the people in the first few days, and that's great. But the majority of your spend is probably you being a burden on people, and is you telling Facebook, I want to be a bad advertiser on your system. I want to be a burden on people's ecosystem. I want to pay more money to lose. That's effectively what you're telling Facebook. And I know that's not true. None of you want to do that. So going up the engagers means that somebody's already shown an interest, which means they're more likely to engage. They're more likely to click, which means your CPCs are going to be lower. Your conversion rates are probably going to be, your click-through rates are probably going to be higher. Which also means that your estimated action rate is going to be higher because you're showing your ads to somebody that's already taken action. They've already done something. Video view is a passive thing. Engaging is an active thing. Now, yes, video viewers are in the engagers, but you're combining all the engagers together. So Facebook's showing your ad to the people with the highest likelihood of taking an action. So now you've consolidated audiences, right? So now it's not breaking out your video viewers by 5 different audiences. It's just all into one, and it's everybody else. So instead of spending $10 in 5 different places, you're able to spend $50 in one place, which goes back to what we were saying before about diversification of your ad spend. And you're able to do it by a level of intent. So you're able to not waste money on somebody that told you go fuck yourself 2 weeks ago. So you're also way more efficient. And you're showing it to people that are likely to take more action, so your estimated action rate goes up. So your CPMs are going down, and your overall cost across your entire account is going to go down because Facebook sees you as a high-quality advertiser. So don't target video viewers. Target ad and post engagers. And just try to get the same results as video viewers, and then scale that. Get that one ad set to get 50 conversions a week and try to win there. That will be fundamentally better for you long-term than the video viewer because you're focusing all of your ad spend into one place instead of like 10. And because your conversion rate is higher, because your action rate is higher, you're improving your entire ad account. What you'll see is your prospecting costs will go down, your retargeting costs will go down, every cost you have because you're not paying as much of a tax, because you're not as much of a burden on somebody's newsfeed. Lastly, she said that she was prospecting with engagement campaigns. Don't prospect with engagement campaigns because what you're doing is you're trying to just get people that are window shoppers. Do prospecting with conversion objectives. The only person that you give a fuck about talking to is somebody that's possibly gonna buy. If somebody doesn't show intent to purchase, they're not worthwhile for you targeting in the first place, which is why we segment all of our prospecting with a level of engaged shoppers on it. So we're not even bothering with people who aren't likely to buy. And none of you all, are in any position where you're spending enough money that you don't want to go after the low-hanging fruit. You have so many impulse buyers that you're not even talking to that you need to focus on them before you worry about anything else. You know, when I was running like Domino's or Progressive Insurance, they didn't even worry about people beyond impulse buyers. There's so many people, millions and millions of people. You need what, 100 a day to be fucking banking? Don't worry about this long journey and then pretending that anybody gives a fuck about you or your business. They don't. Just get the people that want to buy right now. When you hit the point where you're spending $10, $20, $50, $100,000 a day converting the people who want to buy right now, then we can have a conversation about this long journey that actually means something, that sounds great and beautiful, and that everybody can, pat themselves on the back and sniff their farts at fucking conventions. That's where these gurus are coming from, because they want to sound smart to really rich people, because the really rich people pay a fuck ton of money to bring them into a room, and fundamentally their business does better because of it, which justifies their cost. To get somebody like that to come to your business might cost $10,000 a day. If you want to make $10,000 a day, you have to appeal to the people with $10,000 a day pockets. The only way you can do that is by talking to people about their $1 million businesses. That person's advice to you means fucking nothing other than it's good to be talking about ads. But you cannot run your business the same way that McDonald's does. You will lose every time. And if you're winning, we wouldn't be having this conversation. All right, let's see if there's any other questions here, because we went way down the rabbit hole there, and I loved it. I want to make sure we're not ignoring anybody before we go through the questions in the chat. By the way, if you have any more questions, please ask in the chat. And if you're watching this way later, that's fine. Ask away. Tag me in your question, and I'll gladly get back to it. All right, I think that's it. That's it. Okay. So coming back here, Tomas says, one more very important thing. I've recently noticed that there has been added quality ranking, engagement rate ranking, conversion rate ranking in columns on the ad level. Would you consider this information important? And if it says below average on any of them, below average, average, above average are the options, I think, would you do something to improve it, like making a new ad, changing a video, ad copy, etc.? Tomas, yes. So these are new metrics that Facebook is sharing. The reps have had this for years, but they're now making it public facing. What I would say is, yes, these things are important, but these are ways to take something that's winning and make it better. These metrics won't take something that's losing and make it win. It's the old polishing a turd nonsense, right? If a dog takes a shit on your front lawn, doing these things won't make it smell any better. What these do is these helps when you're running, when you're 50 conversions a week or 100 conversions or 200 conversions a week, whatever. When that's running, say you got an ad set that's spending $100 a day, you're driving 3 conversions or $200 a day or whatever, and you're coming in at like a 2.1. And you want to get to like a 2.3, or say you've got a $35 CPA and you want to get it down to like a 28. The way you can do that is by looking at some of these metrics to understand how to polish things up a little bit. But what I can tell you is none of these things are going to take your losing store and make it win. They're going to take your winning store and make it win a little bit better. In the order of things that are really important on Facebook, number one is good offers and site. Like if you have a shit product and a shit site, nothing you're going to do on Facebook is going to work. So having that first is the number one most important thing. Number two is having creative that shows that. Right? Having a good ad that shows that will win. If you have a good ad, in a perfect world, if you had the best ad possible, you could run it to everybody on Facebook and double your money overnight. You could run 2x at 1,000, 10,000, whatever bucks a day to broad. And you'll win. So your creative is the number one most important thing at that level. The next thing is your campaign architecture. Because 99.9% of us aren't going to have that crushing, amazing fucking ad that just catches fire and becomes viral. So we need to make sure that we're curating the customer journey to use Facebook in the most efficient way. Now, there's a funny thing that goes around on Facebook is 2 years ago, you could have a picture of a brick. And if your customer journey was mapped out right and your campaign architecture was good, I could run a campaign. I could run an ad account with extraordinarily well-built funnel and beat you even if you had the best ad ever. That has changed. So keep that in mind. What you're talking about here in quality ranking, engagement rate ranking, conversion rate ranking, that has nothing to, that is a combination of both the creative and the targeting. You might have the best ad in the world, but if it's targeting somebody that doesn't care, your rankings are going to be shit. For instance, if you target site traffic for the last 30 days, on day 28 of somebody seeing your ad a couple times a day, they don't give a fuck about you. Your ranking is going to be 0 because they've told you to fuck off for 2 weeks. They're of no value to you. And a lot of people have these really long windows retargeting saying, well, I need to, the volume. And it's like, no, you're spending money on people. It's a waste. Be more efficient in the short window and drive more people into the short window. You don't need to worry about that really long tail unless you have a very high cost item. The higher your cost your item, the more consideration, the longer the tail needs to be. But we're going after impulse buyers. If your product's less than $1,000, you don't need to worry about somebody after 7 days. Let me put it that way. Or at most, like 14, So anyway, that being said, so it's definitely a combination of those items, way more than it is a reflection of any one ad. It's the combination of everything. And you will improve those rankings merely by having a better architecture. You will improve those rankings by having a better ad. But if you have a shit architecture or a shit ad, your ranking is going to be bad. So the actionable insight is way more on just doing things better. Better business practice. Think of these scores as your grade. And you can improve them by getting better ads and building better architecture and building a better site and doing all the things that we tell you to do. But in and of itself, trying to optimize for these objectives won't improve your business nearly as well as doing everything else. The only way to improve them is by doing everything else that we're saying. So hopefully that's helpful. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. I got to go downtown and buy some more shirts so I can make more merchandise. And I'll see you guys later. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you love it, share it with a friend. That's all I ask. Do the homework. I want to give some more stuff away. It's shocking. Nobody did the homework last week. I don't know if you're scared or if you don't want to do it or whatnot, but let's go undermine some gurus. Let's go tell some fucking predators that they're assholes and undermine everything that they're doing and give this shit away for free. Because they're assholes. And we should fuck them. It's my opinion. Anyway. I gotta go. Enjoy the week. See you later. Bye.